Yeah, I remember this from about a decade ago. I left the batteries in it. I picked it up like this with batteries. They'd corroded, and this is exactly what I have allowed to happen to this. It's super annoying. I'm sure it probably still works. We'll fix it again. Let's try and get the battery out. Yeah, lots of corrosion there. So, oh god, how annoying. I honestly can't remember how I got into this now. Oh yeah, little things here. So we get these 2 screws out here, and then it's clipped at the bottom. It's going to hinge like that probably. And we'll just try and clean those contacts there. Not sure if you can see, it's a bit bluey green there, and that spring there is very corroded. Yeah, so another use for the iFixit toolkit, well, with my own bit, I've got the game bit here. Let's just get that into there, and then all being well, it should, I think, be the right size for those. Yeah, there we go, it's coming in. Let's now see if we can pull that apart. There we go. Yeah, so this spring terminal here is going to need cleaning up. You can see how fuzzy that is. And then just the captive one over here. It is literally just the surface stuff here. But often the issue will be, will it crumble? And actually no, it's just superficial. I think we're alright. Yeah, it's definitely pretty fuzzy there. Let me show you on the microscope. Yeah, there you go. So you can see, I think, yeah, look at that. It's still pretty fuzzy. So, even using the wire brush here, you'd be lucky if you can, so let's try and get it flat like that. Yeah, you'd be lucky if you can really do much with, even with a wire brush here. But that's certainly where you want to start. Just try and get the flaky bits off and stuff, and down here as well, because the whole area is looking pretty fuzzy. You can see some of the alkaline coming off there. Little bits of it here, so you saw some white stuff flake over that way. And a cotton bud with some white vinegar. And let's see what happens with that. Yeah, just trying to hold the board. It's not easy to hold and film. So I get some all around the base there. Oh, that's come up really nice there. You can see the gold, the outline, the outside of it. Yeah, and it's just this top bit, isn't it? So I think what I'll do with that top piece there, the top section, is just get a flat file onto that. Because if that is not really superconductive, then your battery is just not going to work. And this is the problem with these types of contacts. The point where the battery makes the contact, that's the bit where you just get the worst connection. That makes sense. But in general, that's good enough now. It is just the surface of it we need to deal with. Because you can see on this side here, yeah, that bit there, that's just going to make a really bad electrical connection. But cleanliness wise, that's not too bad. What I will do is get the toothbrush in there with the vinegar, because you can see there's just particles of the oxides and things that don't just come out with a cotton bud. And I'm just going to bring in this metal file here and just try and focus on that bit there. It's easier said than done, because it doesn't hold itself in position, does it? You could try and decompress it. There you go. Can you see that coming off now? Yeah, you could try and press it down with something just to get then you can get more friction onto it. Just change the angle of attack there a little bit. Yeah, I think you can see that's coming up a bit better. There's perhaps a wee bit here as well. And of course, having done this, you then find it's more susceptible to future damage from either corrosion or, like natural corrosion, like moisture, humidity, etc. You can see that is much, much better now. And for that very reason, the final thing I'll generally do with things like this is just get a cotton bud with a bit of WD-40 on it and just have a wipe all around it, because then you help maybe protect the surface a little bit. But I guess the only way to be sure with something like that is to coat it. You'd have to coat it electrolysis or something, but anyway, you can see that's pretty clean there now. So a toothbrush with some vinegar. Let's just get a bit of vinegar in the middle. You can still see it fizzing a bit in the middle there, because, well, there's some of the... They see it fizzing. That's really fizzing. Look at that. It's going for it. Absolutely going for it. Let's get some more vinegar. This is certainly why you want to do this a number of times, but look how much cleaner that is. That looks new, doesn't it? I think you can agree that is looking really good now. Still some fizz in there, can you see that at the bottom? It's incredible with that magnification. You know, I don't think we would have seen that any other way. Just cleaning that contact there as well, just for good measure. It's looking alright, a little bit of fizzing maybe. Yeah, so I'll just dry around that with cotton buds now. And finally, I'll just wash it again with some IPA and then dry it off again. Yeah, so toothbrush with IPA. Just going to clean both of these this way. That is looking like new. I'm amazed actually how well that's come out. I mean, you know, super inspecting this, I can still see. I don't know, maybe I can't see. I was going to say I thought I saw some browny edge there, but yeah, I don't think so. I think that's pretty darn good actually. Yeah, this microscope, it's really going to change my channel completely, isn't it? I could just see things I had no visibility of in the past. Right, that'll do for that. So I guess while we're here, we'll have a look at those contacts as well. Yeah, look at that one. That's awful. Now, if memory serves, when I did this last time, I pulled this out actually. Yeah, so just looking at this, you can see there's a little metal thing here, and it clips in at the bottom somehow there. So I think with a bit of prizing, let's just see if we can find a leverage point here. And we might pull this to pieces doing this. I don't know. Let's just see if we can. No, that spring's moving. You know, need to get something down there. And looking at this side here, you can see. Yeah, there we go. There's like a little clip, I think. Just push that up like that, and then the plate should come out, I think. Yeah, there's no way I could have done that without magnification, because I would have not known that. Technically, I could try pushing down here maybe there. Yeah, I think that's done it. Yeah, I think that's done it, because this is coming up a bit. Can we get under there? Yeah, it's just a case trying to get under there. That's it, it's flipped out. Yeah, you can see it here. Look at that, so let's just flake that off. Ugh. That's not too bad actually. There's no actual damage there. It's survived pretty well, that. So let's get some vinegar again. Yeah, and inspecting the other side as well, look, you can see some of that blue stuff has got on the underside. It's interesting, isn't it? You get different chemical reaction on each side, I think. I could be wrong. Because you've got, you know, a positive and negative, and you do get different reaction, which is why this side looked blue. The other one was green, this side was blue. Some of that could be things in the local vicinity, like the label on the battery, for example, but I do think you get a slightly different type of reaction. A different component of the battery, you know, a different chemical reaction occurs on this side. Yeah, I'm just using the wire brush again there, just try and get these few bits off. And then we'll just clean it with some IPA. Ugh, I'm making a right mess around here. And finally, some IPA here. I'm not going to use the toothbrush here because, you know, it's pretty clean. The spring didn't get anything. The spring, look, it's just good as new. Those blue bits there are just from me brushing things around. I'll tell you what, let's just get the brush on it. There we go, that's pretty clean, I think. Yeah, it's worth cleaning that part as well, so I'm just using just a bit of vinegar here. Almost got it, there's just that tiny little bit at the bottom. Yeah, so the inside of that is pretty darn clean now. What we need to do with this is bend that piece of metal again, don't we? And I believe it needs to be bent downwards, I think, just looking at that. Yeah, it looks like we bent it back this way, so it needs to go down like that. Yeah, you can see that. And then when we stick it back into here like this, it's going to hopefully press right down here like that, and it's going to clip when it gets right down. There you go, that's it. I couldn't have had a better clip there, could I? Look at that, brand new. Oh, hang on, it says brand new, see that? I see a blue thing. Let's just see if we can get that out. There we are. It's just a loose bit. I think it was just a loose bit of blue stuff that landed on this metal, but you can see that looks like new now. Yeah, so the final thing to clean here are these gold contacts. So you can see, yeah, a wee bit dirty there. So just cotton bud with some IPA. Let's just to see. Is that corrosion? I don't think it is. I think it's just dirt. I think there's just got dirty. I know the focusing's not quite right there. I can try and dial that in somewhat. I think that's about as good as that's going to go. When you hold something like this under a microscope, it can be quite difficult because I'm holding it above the table. You know, it's half an inch off the table. Anyway, that's that side nice and clean. Just carefully try flip that over. Same thing on this side. It's just a bit of dirt. Look, they're not actually too bad. It's clean right up there. This is the thing with the microscope, you see, I wouldn't have seen this dirt up here. I don't think I've ever seen so well with anything I've worked on in the past. Let's just get rid of those fibres. And just for good measure, we'll just have a quick look around here, just make sure none of that corrosion went anywhere on here. Yeah, that looks fine. So a microscope away, I can now finally try and get this back together. So the way this is assembled, it goes like that, doesn't it? That sits there, and then the battery contacts go through there, but you've got to hinge it here at the top. I guess the thing to do, really, the most sensible thing, is to put this into there first. Hang on, is that going in? Like that. Yeah, and then just clip it together like that. Let's just inspect these. Those look fine and like new. I'm so pleased with that. I'm almost pleased at the fact that I had to go back in here again just because I was able to see really clearly. And I'll show you how bad those batteries are up close to them. They're horrendous. Oh, I talked about this before. If it's on a drop of screw on this floor, I'll then spend hours trying to find it. Yeah, these screw heads are not magnetic. Oh, let's try and hold that there, don't fall out. It fell on my shoe. On my slipper, hang on. There it is. That was a good bit of luck. Yeah, I do need new slippers. Those things are absolutely well past it. Let's get the second one in. Try not to drop it on the floor again. And turn until it stops. That's it, don't over tighten. So that's it. So yeah, just look. Oh, look how bad that is. Horrendous, isn't it? And then look, it's blue on this side. Sort of browny green one side, blue on the other. And that one is alright. And that sometimes happens as well. Even though these are the same batch of batteries, one does that, the other one doesn't. Anyway, let's get some new batteries. We'll test that out in a minute. And of course it goes without saying, check the battery flap as well. There's no corrosion on that, it's good as new. Yeah, so about to test this and do the Xenocrisis review actually. If you saw the repair I did, it might be on this wall actually, I've got a couple of these. Yeah, the CR2032s, when they go flat, if you're not careful, if you test it without a battery, or you have the battery in the wrong way, or the battery's completely flat, you can kill the SRAM on them. It's just a 62256 chip as far as I remember, 32K or something. So we'll get a brand new CR2032 and pay attention to which way this is up. So it's the flat side upwards there. Just get rid of that, put the new one in. Make sure it's nice and flat and level, and very carefully try and get that in, I think. And this is the thing, when I did this the previous time, the battery wasn't making a good connection. I'd certainly push it in and out just a little bit. Hang on. There we go, just to make sure it is making a good connection. Connect that back to this, I think. Oh god, which way around does that go? It goes that way, doesn't it? Because it's got the curve there like that. And switch this on. Hope it hasn't killed it. Yeah, this TV does not like this N64 S-Video at all. I had to power cycle it about 30 times to get the display to be full size. It does this weird thing where, I don't know, it squashes it up. Anyway, if we go into a game. Yeah, so it said it's damaged. This is the thing, so we can try to repair. Yeah. Well, changing the battery over seems to have been okay, I think. Just found the expansion pack. I've not got the bubble pack fit at the moment. We'll do that next. Just wondering why I've got no sound. Yeah. It's going by composite, that's what this is. This is not S-Video.
This is pretty stuff right here. Oh my god, they killed Kenny! You bet!
Yes, it is actually working. I think the battery is too low. Let me just mute the TV. Yeah, I gotta put this really close to the camera here. Let me just touch the camcorder. I think you can hear that's going. So it is working. I put some pretty weak batteries in it though, so that's all it is. So yeah, anyway, at least we managed to fix that again. And yet something else to show you here. Let me just try and get this into shot. So this is one of the memory cards, memory pack from the N64. And I was testing the batteries on these, two of them, no worries so far. Oh, look at this one here, I measured the voltage and then I tested it and it wasn't working, look. It's broken off here. So I actually think this has just blooming killed this SRAM. I've talked about this before because it says it formats it and it says no, it can't be saved, it's corrupted, it's permanently damaged. And what happens with these is when the battery's not connected, for some reason, these fail. And I think it's because the battery ultimately is what powers this. So you end up with a latch up where it's driven on its address and data lines and things, and there's no power. We might be lucky, maybe reconnecting this will solve it, but somehow, and I think it might be easier than I'm thinking, I need to just sort of, I don't know, bend that towards that a little bit, like that. How's that happened though? How's that just broken off there? It must have been like really tight in the case, and then when it's got pushed in, force of this battery being pressed by the lid or something, friction, has just broken it. But anyway, let's just get some solder on that, try and fix it. Bear in mind, lithium batteries like that can explode if you, well, heat them. And we're going to be heating right next to it. The tabs there are welded on, spot welded. And if we're not careful, it might sink down that. That's it. Yeah, and then we need to try and get some solder onto that without burning my finger. Yeah, how reliable is this going to be? I don't know. And then try and get them together. And then try and get the iron in there. It's going to melt like plastic, isn't it? See, like, that's just not in the right place. I think we need to bend that down further. Yeah, like that. I can deal with that melted bit of plastic in a minute. They still don't feel that line very well. Oh my god. There we go, that might have done it. Let's just try and, yeah, renew that. Yeah, that did just go down that gap there. That's just, it's alright, it's fallen through. Yeah, and inspecting that, that is in place. I don't know whether we're going to be able to put any pressure on this though, that's the problem. Let's try and get it back together and see if it works. It's really mysterious how that battery's just like snapped off that when it's just been sat in there. It must have been pretty weak, you know, the way it was assembled or something. So let's just pull that one out, which works. This one in. I got the feeling it's going to give us the error though. It's going to say it's corrupted, which is going to mean a new SRAM chip's needed. Start South Park again. Now it's going to be corrupted at the very least. Attempt repair. Yes, format. I think we salvaged it this time. I think. I don't know, it's taken ages that. So maybe not. Well, I've never seen it freeze there before. Yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen a controller pack format freeze an entire system. It worked the second time though, look. Yeah, let's try and copy one of my saves to that pack. So the way we do that is hit reset. Should go back to the menu, I think. And we go into the EverDrive folder, CPack, I think. And we've got an old memory pack I backed up there. We go CPack, file to CPack. There we go. And testing the Rumble pack again here with fresh batteries. If I lob a grenade. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can hear that. I'm going to put it onto the camera and then you'll feel it vibrate. You ready? Lob a grenade. Yeah, it actually moved the camera, didn't it? There we go. So it's working fine. It gives a really good level of vibration. You just can't hear it very well, you know, unless you get really close to it. The only place I've noticed just now, just from a quick play, is on grenades. You throw a grenade and yeah, when it goes off, you get a pretty good rumble, actually. It's so cool, this game. I absolutely adore it. I really do. Got a little worm up there. Minigun over there. Yeah, no rumble on that one. Yeah, I felt the rumble there. When you get hit, you get a rumble as well. And again. I'm going to die in a minute. I am so bad at the N64 version. I'm finding the direction, you know, easy to do with the firing, yeah. It's the fact that I can't easily get a roll. I can either have an easy roll or an easy grenade, but not both. Just for the, you know, default control options, yeah, and it vibrated quite a bit there when I died. So the other thing I'm doing while I'm here, this controller I fixed ages ago, like 6 or 7 years ago maybe, and it was a bad connection here. Let me just turn that down a wee bit. Yeah, I've just turned that down a little bit, and it was a bad connection around here, and I actually redid this whole section here. One of the problems is, I've just noticed, occasionally when you pull this out, the connections come straight out of the plastic hood, and this little plastic flap here had lifted up. You push it down, it clips into place, and then it holds those connections, I think. So I'm now going to get some black silicone, maybe a piece of heat shrink tubing around it, and yeah, fill that whole cavity with black silicone. Anyway, just making sure it works before I do that, because I'd hate to, yeah, secure that. There we go. If it works with one button, it's got to work with them all, because it's a serial connection. You've got 3 connections, red, white and black, I think, are the wires. So it's going to be like, I don't know, VCC ground and a multiplex data and clock signal or something like that. Anyway, that's working. Yeah, what happened a minute ago, like I said, I just pulled it out. And I didn't pull it by the wires, I sort of just, I don't know what happened. It came to pieces. But then I noticed this black flat bit here. Yeah, it's a separate piece. It was clipped upwards, and as soon as I clipped it down, it snapped into place, and it's now holding those firmly. The other thing I may do is just get a cable tie. If we just move that out of the way, get a cable tie around here and silicone the cable tie. And bear in mind, there's nothing for it to stick to. But what will happen, because of the shape of this, it's going to protrude, isn't it? And it's going to stick in that gap there, yeah, and potentially help secure the silicone. You know, the silicone will just hold it. Yeah, and the best way to tighten one of these is just by doing that. And I think that's as tight as that's going to get. Let's just try and pull it that way a little bit, and we'll just cut that flat. Just checking all the wires are still in there. And the only heat shrink I've got is this stuff, which, well, it's pretty blooming big, isn't it? But I'm going to give it a try anyway, so I'm going to cut a piece of this off. Let's just try that out for size. Yeah, you can see it's massively bigger there, but the idea being, you see, is I'll shrink it like, hang on, there, like that, and then I can fill that cavity, assuming this shrinks. Yeah, let's give it a try, nothing to lose. Right, that'll do. Remember, this was always going to be a bodge because of the fact I had to cut the plastic off there. Let's just move the 64 back. A bit of a waste of Captain tape really, but I just want to just stick that like that there. Just to stop that sliding up this way. I can obviously wipe off the excess here in a minute. I think that'll do because I'm getting it everywhere. Yeah, and I just put that down on the floor over the top of a piece of paper towel. Oh. Yeah, so if you know anything about silicone, the wet finger technique is what you want to use. Like that. Use a different finger each time. I should put it down so I need to clean my fingers. I've got no fingers to wet now. Oh god, this stuff. I tell you what, I would have made a terrible DIY person, and I do, I am a terrible DIY person, but the point is, I just get in a mess really quick with things like this. So let's just, hang on, smear that off there. Now I think that's it. All I need to do now is carefully wipe where I don't want the silicone. Yeah, so we got, you know, a bit of plastic here. Cotton bud might be the easiest way to do this actually, because I can precision wipe with it, can't I? And let's just fold this up just to stop this silicone going everywhere. Let's start on that bit. Oh, gonna need a couple of different cotton buds here, I think. There we go. And up around this way, if I can rotate it. I'm trying to be careful not to stress this cable out. And bear in mind, any you miss, you could just get some IPA and scratch it off sort of afterwards. So it doesn't really matter if there's the odd bit on there. You know, just literally some friction on it with your fingers afterwards on the white bit will clear off anything that's... let's just go right up there. So I think you'll agree that's actually, it's not going to be bad. It's a bodge, pragmatic bodge. We'll untake that later. Anyway, I'm going to let that dry now. I think before we do that, I'm just going to plug it back in. Let's not tempt fate. Let's just plug it in and make sure it actually works. I'll leave it plugged in. So we'll go, hang on, the right way up. Switch it on. Where's the controller? Carefully using the controller to avoid pulling it. Yeah, we can move up and down. If we just hit start, it should load the last ROM, I think. Yeah, let's make sure I can start it. Skip that.
It's about time you showed up, Fox.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. So I'll just switch that off and just leave that, and hopefully that little silicon bung is going to be gripped by the heat shrink here, and the cable tie that was wrapped around, it was tight. You know, it's not ideal, but well, it's better than nothing. Yeah, so that rubber bung's held really well on that controller. I'll show you in the Xenocrisis review, actually. So there'll be a video on that coming up, and another video on one of these power supplies, a different model. I do hope you found the video interesting. If you'd like to support the channel, please see the Coffee and Patreon links down below. I'll catch you in the next video.